But Arne, obviously desperately disappointing to lose, and disappointing to lose in that manner, in that moment of the game as well. But what about the performance that went with it, the kind of the underlying performance that your team gave? What did you make of that?
I think there were two very good teams on the pitch today. First half, unfortunately for us, their first chance and the only chance they had in the first half, if you can look at that as a chance, it's a shot from 20 yards. Goes into the top corner. We created 3 open chances. Milos, Dom and Alex with the header. But I felt the game was equal. Maybe in ball possession they were a bit stronger than us. Second half we started off really well. It wasn't a surprise to me that we scored the 1-1. I think in that period of time I felt as if we could go 1 up. And the last 10 to 15 minutes it was an end-to-end game, if you say, as you say it over here. So it just goes both ways. And we had chances to win it, they had chances to win it. And in the end, again, we concede in the last second goal.
It's something you mentioned in your press conference on Friday, actually. For so long, for so many months, you've been on the right side of the margins, and suddenly you find yourselves on the wrong side of those margins. What are the little things? Is that confidence, form? What are the little things that have suddenly turned these tight games against you?
No, first of all, the opposition we face. So last season we lost against Chelsea as well. So going away here at Stamford Bridge is always a difficult team to play against. But we were, in my opinion, I think we were, I can safely say this, very close to a result. Small margins. As I said, Galatasaray, we go 1v1 to the goalkeeper, we miss, they get a penalty. Conceding in the last minute a set piece in the extra time against Crystal Palace. And today, just in a normal extra time, they scored a goal where it could have gone either end.
Clearly, of course, disappointed. Liverpool now sits second in the table as we head into the international break. Danny, I just wonder, from your perspective, what is it? What is it that's missing from Liverpool, especially in these last 3 games, in all comps where we've seen defeat after defeat after defeat?
Well, I think it's a mixture of things. The most obvious one over those 3 games that I've seen is the lack of composure and control that they were renowned for last season. I think there's certain players who are off it, the form that we saw last season. Some of the new ones haven't hit the ground running. That final bit in the last third, when they're actually getting into good areas, decision-making's not great. There's been some poor finishing. And I think, defensively, they're more stretched. They seem a bit more imbalanced. Maybe that's trying to fit in the new players. Maybe there's so many things. There's a lot to improve on this team. There are every football match is won and lost on small details. Liverpool could have nicked that today, and I said to the lads earlier, if they had, it would have hidden some frailties. Because playing that cavalier way of football, it was chaotic in the second half. And Slot doesn't like that. He didn't talk about it there. But playing that way means that you can win and lose week to week and be 3-3, 4-3. That's not what they were last season when they won the league. Well, so there's room for improvement, basically.
When he came in last year, that was everyone was talking about, the difference from Klopp and Slot coming in was the composure, the possession that they had. They controlled games. They're nowhere near it. In the last 3 games, they're nowhere near it. So this is a big test for them now. They've got Man United next at home. It's a home game, big rivals, obviously. That is a massive game for them, because if they were to lose that, then there's big question marks. But you can't play like that and be so open. And the manager even said the last 20 minutes, well, we could say like the second half was like a basketball game. It was too open.
Do you think he did that because he felt he could win it? Because we could see, he obviously knew he could have shored it up, put an extra defender on. He could have changed the system.
Well, he put Endo on. I won't be surprised if Endo doesn't come into the team at some stage and you sit a midfield player and then everything else around him. Because if they're that open, they can't win the league playing like that. They really can't.
Is this what happens, though, when you do have changes and you do have an influx of new players coming into the side? Does it take time for the team to gel? Because they're getting used to a new way of playing, especially with Wirtz in the side.
Well, but at the same time, we're talking about the champions, a quality team with bolting on quality players. Talking about Isak and Wirtz coming in. Kerkez, who was very, very good at Bournemouth. We've seen Frimpong, where he's, was it Borussia? Leverkusen. So they brought in very good players, and what's got to happen now is that they've got to gel. And the fact is, when you're the champions, it's got to happen quickly. They have to get some kind of rhythm, you know, some momentum. And because we thought they had it when they were winning games because they're so good. But at the same time, you're seeing when you really dig into it, like you see the frailties of it, like no tracking back, poor final balls. And things you're going to get hurt in the league.
They were scoring so many late goals.
Yeah.
So many late goals. It was weird. Take a couple of them away and take them points away, then they wouldn't. Actually, it's probably a true reflection today
of what Liverpool have been.
Liverpool are at the moment.
I think it's worth saying as well, and you'll know as a manager, Glenn, is that he didn't want to have 6, 7 new signings and try and have to integrate them. Some of the players Liverpool lost, Trent wanted to go, Diaz wanted to leave, wouldn't sign a deal. The tragedy of Jota.
Yes.
You know, some of these situations weren't him going, I want all these new players. It's like, we've got to replace the ones we've lost.
It evolved.
Then you had your own couple as well. You're looking at 5, 6 new players, trying to integrate them into a group after losing some really big characters. It was probably unrealistic for us Liverpool fans to think it was going to go smoothly, to be honest.
That's actually a really good point when you think of it from that perspective. And that said, considering they've been on the edge, had to score quite a few late goals, still second in the Premier League table. It's not no time to panic,
7,
right?
8 games in, so it's fine. It's Liverpool. They'll be back.
For you as a defender who is playing with players who are having injuries and there's different bodies coming in and out of the team, consistency for a defence is important. So how do you feel having to, you know, play with different players week in, week out? It's something you have to do, but how do you find it?
Yeah, well, it's not easy because for different reasons, we have always changed the players, but the most important thing is, like we showed today, it doesn't matter, is finally the game playing in a central back, maybe it's his first game there, so that's not an excuse. We have the quality, we play for a big team, and I think doesn't matter where we play, the most important thing is the team and try to help always.
Mark, we've just analysed the goal. Can I just find out from your perspective? Because you make a really good run. Enzo finds you. You just run off the back of Endo and then you play it into a nice area for Esteval. Could you just talk us through it from your perspective, please?
It's a little bit far away. I know it's a very small monitor. But we're hoping you can remember what happened in the game.
I remember that we try to attack always because we know that Salah is always ready to attack, to play the counter-attack. So we know that we practice and the manager tells us that the space is maybe there. And we saw that it's the last minute. I think we create good chances, but we didn't score. And I try to give my last effort. Enzo put me a good ball, and I try to cross, and Esteban arrived very good at the second post.
So do you say that in the pre-game, in the trainings before the game, the manager was saying that down the sides it's possible to make overlapping runs because that's a weakness of Liverpool?
Yeah, I think, well, they play one style of game that Salah is always ready to attack, so we prepare that if we do good the process, maybe we'll have a lot of space in there. So I think we try to make this thing in our side, and today it works, and we can win the game in this way.
If people didn't know about Esteval, they certainly do now. Just tell us about him. He's 18 years of age. How high? What's his ceiling? How high can he go?
No, I think today we show he came maybe his first time against Liverpool, a Premier League game. It's true that the second half the pace of the game was very high, was a lot of transition, but he came to the game with a lot of personality. I think Atto as well, he came in the middle of the game. I know it's difficult, came from the bench in this game with a lot of intensity, a lot of transition, but I think today these two players, I think, deserve this moment, this game, because for the new players, the players who arrive to the Premier League, it's never easy to adapt, but today I think he showed his quality and they have a brilliant future.
Did you feel a bit of pressure today, Mark? Because obviously, 3 losses on the bounce in the Premier League. Maybe people talking about, is this the first wobble for Chelsea? Did it feel that there was a bit of extra pressure on this one?
Well, I think in the Carlos games always is different. Doesn't matter the position of the game or the journey you arrive here. I think there are special games, and today I think we can feel it. The atmosphere of the team, the fans, they help us a lot. We play with a lot of confidence, with a lot of desire, and I think we play an amazing game. And hopefully we can continue in this way, because if we play all the games like this, I think we can do good things.
And tonight, celebrations for you. I know you have a famous song, Estrella y Paella. Tonight the night for that?
No. I need to work now at home. I have 3 kids, so hopefully I arrive a bit late and they're all sleeping. So
Will your children be excited about the victory?
Yeah, I think so. I always They ask me always to do the penguin, but I tell him that I'm a defender. I not score every game. So hopefully today they are a bit happy because I think we have a very good win today.
You could do the penguin now if you wanted to. You're
I
waiting.
I say for my next goal.
If you do, I do you.
Okay, we can do it too.
Okay, give me that. Go on then. Go on. You going? Especially for your children. I can hold on to this, but congratulations. Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks for coming out to talk to us.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. Thank you.
done, Mark.
And I hope your children get to see the penguin. We will do. Thank you. A really big win for Chelsea, that 2-1 victory. And what was interesting when he talked about the game plan, he mentioned it more than once there in the interview, Mark Cucurella. They knew that space was there. Chelsea going down the left-hand side, Liverpool's right-hand side, because they knew Mohamed Salah was wanting to get forward. So they targeted that area.
Yeah, but every team, it's the same with every team. Most attackers, I'm not going to say you're going to cheat, but most attackers would typically not going to go back every single time. So I don't think that's one area that I think every team would say that. Against big clubs, players are going to go back. There's going to be certain times when you're not going to track back. So I think that in the end, I've played in that position as a winger, and sometimes you try and get away with one and you might not get away with it. But, you know, credit to Chelsea today for what they did, because it's not necessarily about any specific individuals for Liverpool. I think it's about collectively, how do you stop them getting in those areas? It starts from the front, it goes to the back. So unless it's in a transitional phase where you're potentially attacking and they win the ball back, it's about stopping it as early as you possibly can, higher up the pitch.
They've also got problems at fullback. You know, it's apparent they're missing Trent. You look at how they're playing. I think since the Burnley game, they've not played the same right back. They've gone with Soboslai, Frimpong, and Connor Bradley. Today, Connor obviously had a difficult 45 minutes. He gets taken off. It's a problem area for them. Even at left back, Kirkes looked like going to be a fantastic signing. He hasn't adjusted yet for whatever reason. The expectation of playing for Bournemouth, I know I did it, and then he come to Liverpool, is completely different, and he's finding it hard to settle. It might be a reason to give Andy Robertson a run, but looking at that injury at the end of the game, that's a real worry for me. I know they got the international break, but that looked like a nasty one that he's picked up, and you can see how he tried to defend that back post. It's not typical of what he would do because he's so good at normally doing that. So they have got problems defensively, fullbacks, and lots of others right now. You know, this might be a really good international break just to let everything settle down and get back to what they were doing well last season.
The player of the match winning performance there from Moises Caicedo, not just for the goal, which was spectacular, Jamie, but for his all-round contribution.
Yeah, amazing. They've had some incredible midfield players here. When I think about Kante and Makalele, and then obviously Moises Caicedo, they're in the conversation. It's hard to pick who the best of them is because he is having such a great run of form, and he struggled when he first come, but this was a fantastic goal. They dissect Liverpool's midfield. They end up all over the place. Gravenberch, who's normally the deeper one, number 6, he gets drafted in with Enzo. That huge gap there. McAllister then goes to win the ball. He tries to press Caicedo, gets there too late. Then Caicedo obviously gets that little bit of space, and with a number 6, what we call him now, normally they don't have this quality, but he has. He just waits a second, gets it exactly where he wants it, and unleashes a ferocious shot. It's a wonderful goal. Mamardashvili has no chance whatsoever. A brilliant piece of play by a top quality player.
Jamie, as our midfield correspondent, tell us about how he's developed, because as you said, it was a slow start for him. Injuries played a part in that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure. It felt like it was about 106 million or something, his fee at the time. I can't quite remember, but he didn't settle. The team obviously were not playing as well as what they'd have liked, and it's taken him time to sort of adjust to what Chelsea want. But at Brighton, you knew what he was capable of, and now you're seeing one of the best in the world. You know, he's in the conversation with Rodri, who I absolutely love. People talk about Gravenberch. Those three are as good as anything in world football. And he possesses so many good attributes. When he hasn't got the ball, he's incredible. He's so hard to play against. He's all over you like a rash. He can pass the ball easily off one foot. He can play off the either side. He plays round the corner. There's nothing really he can't do. He hasn't really got a weakness in his game. And I think that's a lot of credit to the manager, but also to him. Everything I hear about him, he's a top quality guy. Every day in training, he sets great examples. And you need people like that. He's very unassuming. You can see it in his interview. But he is, no doubt at all now, a world-class player. And he's still got a lot to, he's still only a very young man.
I was going to ask you that. What do you think the next step is?
game now. 3 from defensive midfield is pretty incredible. Obviously 2 blockbusters, a bit of a lucky one at West Ham. But if he can go and get more goals, then really you're talking about one of the best in the world.
He's already getting more goals. He's only managed one a season before this season.
Yeah.
He's already at 3 and we're only in the beginning of October. Look, that meant that Chelsea went in 1 up at the break. It was a different Liverpool who came out in the second half. And they made a change, but also there was a change in intensity and in the way that they played and in the balance of the game.
Yeah, the game changed. You know, Wirtz came on and he was very exciting in that first 5 or 10 minutes, making little things happen. This touch, though, from Alexander Isak, whether he meant it or not is besides the point. I think the timing and the anticipation of Cody Gakpo in the box there, very hungry to score the goal. Gusto, could he have done better a little bit? I think so, but the anticipation of the attacker is what I give credit for. And again, being in those types of positions, these are, again, the goals that you want to be scoring in that 6-yard box, anticipating things, getting into the ball first, and it's an easy finish for him in the end.
Yeah, Gusto got done one at the back post last week against Brighton, and he has to do better there. He doesn't anticipate that Cody's coming in behind him, and it's obviously an important goal. And then I could honestly say I could only see one winner there. I didn't see Chelsea. I thought they were going to maybe just peter out, and the pressure and they had Wirtz on the pitch and players that could do something.
They lost another 2 centre halves in the course of that game as well.
And it never quite materialised. And that's a lot to do with Chelsea and the desire they showed. The crowd got behind them and they were in the ascendancy.
And Cody Gakpo thought that he had set Liverpool on their way to at least a point, if not more, as Jamie was saying. He's talking to Patrick Davison.
Well, Cody, I know it's really, really difficult to come out and speak after a defeat, and especially one like that, but your immediate thoughts on what's just happened?
Difficult. I think obviously we play against a very good team. First half, I think they scored an amazing goal, but I think it was like leveled. Second half, we fought really hard to make the equalizer. I think we played a little bit better than them in the second half, but they were very dangerous in the counter attack as well. And then to concede like last minute again is hard to take.
Is part of the disappointment that after you'd scored and it went 1-1, it felt like Liverpool's game, and then somehow the momentum swung back their way?
Yeah, I think somehow we couldn't keep the momentum. We have to analyze it to know how or why. But I think, well, like you said, after the goal we had the momentum. I think if we kept pushing back at that time, maybe we could score the 2-1. But somehow we lost a little bit the momentum. They gained strength again, and they pushed us back in the counters. And like I said, they were very dangerous, and then scored the winning goal in the last minute.